Antifa has an ideology.
Yes.
What is it?
So they're made up of anarcho-communists, and I'm trying to better understand this ideology because it seems like it would be contradictory, but it's this symbiotic relationship between extreme anarchists and hardcore communists. And the violence that they do on the street is actually towards furthering their goal. They're actually trying to agitate for a revolution. So from the outside, it may seem like just stupid street violence and vandalism, but they really believe that we are living in the latter days of fascism, and the conflict is going to happen in the future by bringing these brutal forms of violence either against the state, individuals, or property. It's instead of inching closer and closer and closer to that climatic battle, it's going to make us run quicker there.
Oh, okay.
So they really do, like their hardcore ideologues really believe they're part of a vanguard that's going to usher in this revolution. Most of the people who describe themselves as anti-fascists aren't really aware of the extremist ideology, but if you look at the literature that they have, that they disperse at some of their book fairs, at their meetings.
They have book fairs?
Yeah, there are anarchist book fairs. There's a lot of very extremist literature there. We have authorities or academics have the frameworks for researching violent extremist ideologies, and I would like to see that apply to Antifa. I think in some ways in how they organize, recruit, and radicalize, there's many parallels with like Islamism as well. So I don't see them as just a benign movement of so-called anti-fascists. I mean, I don't even give them that propaganda win of calling them anti-fascists. I say Antifa because it's I want to separate that from anti-fascism, which to the average person would sound like a very noble thing.
Yeah, well, of course, and that it was ever thus. I mean, I think the hard left has often sought to brand itself anti-fascist, and that goes back at least as far as Stalin. I mean, the red in the Nazi flag is the red of communism. That's how close they were. If you were living in Germany in the early 1930s and you were unemployed and angry and male, it was pretty much a toss-up whether you joined the fascists or the communists or the Nazis. They were.
Yeah, and another thing that I want to say is like Antifa as a movement, they're really great at doublespeak. So you see in the name itself, Antifa, and it trickles down to everything else. So like the physical self-defense, right, is actually preemptive, premeditated violence.
Yeah.
It's a tradition that they actually do take from communism. One example I can think of is that the Berlin Wall, the propaganda, the title for that was the Anti-Fascist Defense Barrier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the type of doublespeak that the most of the public are not aware of, and in Antifa's worldview, there's no room for the Labour Party or the Democrat Party either. They absolutely hate parties. They're not liberal in any way. They hate the politics of the liberal parties as much as they do conservatives. In that they view them as just all of the same system, under the same systems and structures of the oppression.